And today's episode is particularly going to be focusing on the pressures of being a man pertaining to success and performance masculinity and how these affect us to a point of depression and suicide. You get a lot from the psychologists that speak about the fact that oftentimes men who suffer from patriarchal indoctrination will get with women that they don't particularly like, and then they would try to dim a light. Again, going back to what we were talking about, these things that men go through in their head are conjured up by their own beliefs about what a man is supposed to be.
Welcome to an all-new episode of Looks and Wisdom Sundays with me, Oluchi B.
Hey guys, and welcome to another exciting episode of Looks and Wisdom with me, Oluchi B. Please say the B, aka the elusive pundit, darling. How are you feeling? I'm all alone in house. These Wednesday series are very weird because we can never get the team going on. To a point, today I had to do my own makeup. Like, come on, guys. If the makeup is not eating, please can we bomb Takashi's comments and tell him to come to work? Because, hello, honey, what do you mean? You're leaving me stranded. Anyway, we are still focusing on men mental health. And today's episode is particularly going to be focusing on the pressures of being a man pertaining to success and performance masculinity and how these affect us to a point of depression and suicide. And I'm not going to go back and forth again with the description, blah, 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 because I think for the last 2-3 episodes that I've done, I think I've done a great job in explaining what depression and what anxiety is. So we're just going to get into it. So let's actually just start with the performance. I will link the TED Talk video that I watched as research for this episode. And it actually talks about how performance masculinity is informed by all of these ideologies that were created by the society to distinguish what a man is supposed to be. And all of these nuances that we hear about from a very young age, Indo-Damast. A man doesn't cry, boys will be boys. And all of these things actually contribute to a lot of the demise that men actually suffer from, down to the new pandemic that men are allegedly going under, which is them suffering from loneliness. And if you look into the bones as to why men are suffering from loneliness, it has to do with their own conjuring of what a man is supposed to be based on the conditioning that they've gotten from the society down to patriarchy. And I was actually, oh my God, I hope I don't go on too much of a tangent because, hello, darling, can we actually talk about it? I was doing research and I didn't even know Duma, Duma. I never even know what the girl's name is because of Instagram handles, blah, blah, blah. So I saw that the girl was married when I was checking at patriarchy comments. I saw the girl was married and, you know, she's got a baby from that relationship she had back in the day with some rocker guy, Smoother Rock. I don't know his name, but apparently he was a DJ. So they had a baby. She was very young. I remember I was still very much into social media at the time. So she had the baby, and I think she broke her virginity and had the baby, something crazy like that. But they did break up. So majority of the time she's had this child, she was not with the baby daddy. So now she got married to this vendor guy, and oh my God, the patriarchy comments are patriarching. What do you mean? What do you even mean that this girl cannot have a happy marriage or a happy relationship because she's damaged goods, because this guy is, I don't know. I'll share some of the clips because I didn't write it for my notes for today, but it just came to me now when I was recording that. Patriarchy, well, always patriarchy. So the guy can't be happy with this girl because she's already got a baby, blah, 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 mess. You see, maybe that's the reason why you guys are lonely, because you guys are like, no, I can't be with this girl because she's already got a baby, or she was dating that guy, or she's got a long history. Patriarchy talking in your head. Anyway, performance masculinity. So this guy actually spoke about the fact that it is the demise of men, and he has made it his lifelong mission to actually talk about it in terms of we are all actors and actresses in this world. I will talk about feminine performance later on, I think maybe around August, but maybe September, because I want to talk about females in a good light in August. Okay. But he does speak about the fact that we're all actors. We have all been indoctrinated to act according to society standards, and the people that raise you actually inform what type of person you're going to grow up to be later on. And he was talking about the fact that it's such a painful place to be in, because imagine if you want to cry because you heard, now you can't because you were told that boys can't cry. Imagine you want to marry someone who's already got a baby, and then all the patriarchy comments are like, she's damaged goods. This is what I'm talking about. So everything that informs performance masculinity is actually to the detriment of men. So that was the first thing I wanted to bring to the forefront. Are you truly acting who you are as a person and as a human being? Or are you in performance based on what society is telling you a man is supposed to be? And you get it a lot in terms of cultural indoctrination as well. I think the Zulus are very much on the top of the ladder when it comes to practicing these patriarchal roles, this toxic masculinity, and I mean, we're not saying anything negative about the Zulu people. They are entitled. Anyway, so number one, performance masculinity, that informs patriarchy and all of these things. Then the second thing is masculinity and then success. Because you are a man and this world is like, you need to be a provider, you need to be a protector, you need to take care of your family, you need to be controlling, you need to have everybody under you and everybody under your spell. And I think Black Coffee did speak about this on the first episode I did for this year. Then the official first episode that we did was on partnerships and relationships. And Black Coffee does speak about this stronghold to control things, control the wife, control the finances, control where everybody goes, what everybody eats. So it's his world and everybody just living in it. So in terms of that, and what we are going to talk about in terms of the demise of the mental health, or the deterioration of the mental health in men, is informed by those two things: the pressure to be successful as a man, and also performance masculinity that informs this pressure, because a man is supposed to be doing this. And I mean, we also see the pull or the push from the females, indoor-damas, and all of these things that everybody tells everybody to be, but it's not good for anybody's mental health. So the first example we are going to be talking about when it comes to this is not Black Coffee. We already spoke about the goat. Double HP. So when I was doing my research and obviously looking at men and men only who have undergone mental health issues and were vocal about it, because I hate putting people into situations that they don't want to talk about. Hold on. So, Double HP was one of the first celebrities to talk about his depression that he was suffering. And then he passed on in 2020. Come on, notes, come on. This is not the time to fail me. Hold on. He passed on in 2018. That is like close to 7 years now. And it was believed that he passed away from suicide, and then he left a suicidal note. And in the suicidal note, he also speaks about his depression and how it was a lot for him to carry. And there's this clip from Slicker Online that I want to play for you guys, where he actually talks about depression himself.
I mean, depression is something that everybody like kind of experiences, you know, like I think I saw some stat somewhere where like 1 in 6 South Africans are suffering from depression. And from my understanding of it, like depression is just part of like the griefs that people go through. I'm saying it's a step, actually, like one of the 5 steps, which is right before acceptance. And I read a quote yesterday which says change now, something like along the lines of like change now, unless you like no change, or you will have to. I have to just read it. Sorry, man. Like shit, my bad.
Okay, find it.
Having to step out of a motherfucking interview for this shit, that's some bullshit.
It's important.
Yeah. There's a quote that I read somewhere. Where is it? It was posted by a boy of mine now, and it read along the lines of change unless you have to. What I'm saying? And you get to a point where like you become so comfortable in your way of life, whether it's in your industry or in whatever it is that you're doing. And in my case, it wasn't the music, and seeing like that drastic change from how things used to be to where they are now, it can kind of put a shock to the system. You ask yourself, like, does this mean now like you can't contribute anymore to the music? Like, does it mean that you have to kind of conform now, to what's happening? And I went through that, and somewhere along the line, like when I started realizing that music is really just a shade, man. You can kind of find your way in it, whichever way, no matter how old you are, it's a feel, and if you kind of like, find the soul in that whatever genre that you're working in, you can make it work,
So that's Double HP's take on depression, and he was a celebrity, and he did speak about in other interviews about the role that he played, because Double HP was a big deal back in the day, and he paved the way for artists like Casper Nyovest. And then as the new wave of hip hop artists came in, like Casper Nyovest, your MTs, and everybody that came after his era, because he's on the Kholichana era, things change. Like money is not always stable in the celebrity world, especially if your job is to be an entertainer. So a lot of factors could have potentially played in his depressive state. I'm not one to make assumptions, so I'm going to leave it at that. And then the second celebrity we're going to talk about is my favorite, MT. What's that song that he came out with in the industry? Trapper Fasa Baba Liz. Hey, stop rolling out the jet. Hello. Okay, hold. So MT is actually from Ematatiela. He grew up impoverished, to say the least, and then he moved up to Johannesburg to start a new life for himself. And then he got his start as part of Malaba Noise. Mabala, let's say Mabala, in case, like, guys, I'm getting old, so my memory is not all there. Hey, guys, do you remember that scandal with the Mabala production? What is it? The Mabala record label, and how they were paying artists a fixed salary. Guys, yes. You see this thing about being in the limelight and people expecting and then being a celebrity and feeling like you're supposed to. Indoctrinated, a celebrity must, because you're in the public space. Now you showing us Bentleys in your music videos. Now we expect to see in a Bentley. You are wearing Balenciaga. Now we want to see you wearing Balenciaga. You're telling us you're in Dubai. Now we want to see you in Dubai. So MT does come from poverty. And then he got into the entertainment industry being scammed, allegedly, because those guys apparently had money and they could sue me. So I'll say allegedly again. Scammed by Mabala Noise. And is it Noise? Hold on. I need to check this. I'll check it. But I always link like photography and correct. So MT has been in and out of intoxicants. He has admitted to liking weed very much, and I endorse that. And there was a video by this other guy, Jay Molly. I will link it up. And he was giving us a glimpse into MT's everyday life, really.
What do as a stand-up guy? I pay for the studio session. I give them gas money because motherfuckers ain't got no money. So I give them gas money. They pull up. I buy KFC for them because they can't order their own KFC. I buy lean for them. You know, MT leaning off that shit hard. I buy lean for MT and Saruno so they can like geek out, have their fun. And then I'm with MT. He's either passed out on the couch or like he's like passed over and he can't put his shoe on. For the last 3 times I tried to do sessions with me, I paid for everything. I bought them KFC. I paid for their transport. Because I think they don't have no money. So that's why I paid for their transport. They pull up to the studio. I buy them lean. Because you know lean, MT's a lean addict. And Saruno. They're both lean addicts. So I buy their lean for them. I watch them sip. You either got MT swearing at his fans on live or he's sleeping. Either MT sleeping or he's on live swearing at his fans. That's what he does best, you know, it's like swearing at his fans.
So I'm not shocked by that information because we've seen that interview with MT on Training Topics where he was looking delirious. So, and MT's got a wife and a family that are always in the news for the wrong things. So my observation around MT is the fact that he's a family man. He has to provide for his children and for his wife. And as far as I know, and I will check this information, the wife doesn't particularly have a job. And if he's not doing that, he's creating great music and releasing it for us to enjoy. Thank you, MT. And if he's not doing that, he's duped in intoxicants and doing funny things like going on live and showing us his, I almost said little, oh my God, no, B. And showing us his private parts unprovoked, or he's fighting as fans on his live, or he's fighting other people that are working with him. So MT's world is very much chaotic. And I was thinking, MT suffers from the same thing that all of the men suffer from who go into intoxications. Public figure, in everybody's face, there's expectation from the fans for him to live up to a specific lifestyle. And I mean, things haven't been going that well financially for MT. Not by his own doing or own conjuring, but because that's how the industry goes. The money's up, the money's down, the money's everywhere, the money's not anywhere. So he does have that happening and the expectation from the industry or the fans for him to live a particular lifestyle. And I think it does get into everybody's brain that they're supposed to live a specific lifestyle because they're celebrities. I've been in places where I've seen the girlies getting brown envelopes from shady looking characters in clubs and in restaurants. So I get it. It's tough in the streets, guys. It's tough. And it's even more tougher as a man because unless you're part of the colorful community, you can't be out here having a sugar daddy. Or maybe you can if you want. We've heard things, but we're not going to get into that. So MT is one of those people that fall into the mold of success being strained sometimes and him having to live through the low points of being a rapper in South Africa in the ever evolving space of the entertainment space where sometimes you're in, sometimes you're out. And he does, from what it looks like to me, pacify with intoxicants. And yeah, MT, we love you though. And yes, he was on El Tito's podcast and he said he is now doing away with the drugs and alcohol.
How long have you been off everything?
5 months.
5 months?
Yeah.
Wow. So you're not doing nothing, no lean, no weed, nothing, no substances at all. Are you keeping it real with us, Big Hustle?
Swear to God on my mom.
And another person that we wanted to speak about is the actor Patrick Shayi. So Patrick Shayi was in the news just before his passing, and he passed away in 2022. That January was busy, so I had to go into the books and check what was going on with Patrick Shayi before his alleged suicide. There was a female in and around his life that was pregnant, and this female got killed. So they were in and out of courts. And if you do understand the entertainment industry, Patrick is considered a veteran. So he's been in the industry for some time. And we do know that the South African industry, particularly in the acting space, doesn't pay as much. He was probably down bad in his life anyway, allegedly, according to me, based on what I've searched for to check if he was working in 2021, 2020. And I remember him trending. I never bothered to check, but I had to check now because obviously research for this episode. He posted a video challenging Casper Nyovest, the rapper, to a boxing match. And this had a lot of profanity. I will link the video.
This is Ntate Mogolo Patrick Shai. Ke batla gore kopane le wena ko ringing. Ke batla blacks my boy. Before ke tlhokofala, I want to make sure go trapile so that on my tombstone go ngwali hore ke le time le lanyisa casta or gospel whatever your shit name is your vesta ke tla unyisa boy on my tombstone. Give me that respect. Come, you son of a bitch.
And then he got a lot of backlash from the masses in the internet streets, and they were like, oh my God, no, because apparently he got Casper Nyovest's mom into it and was swearing. And then after that, he came on and he apologized.
Humbly from the bottom of my heart, apologize for having used such strong language towards your mom. Even though the challenge would have been an ideal thing, now it has been soured by what I said. Kikopa askis from the bottom of my heart. Onswarele and Linswarele South Africans, I am regretting every bit of the last sentence that I used. I'm sorry.
And in the apology, he speaks about the fact that it was read the wrong way. He might have sent the wrong tone, because what he wanted to do was to highlight gender-based violence by going on a boxing match with Casper Nyovest. If you guys do remember, Casper was doing these boxing matches back in the day, and I don't know why they disappeared. And but he was doing them. You know, Casper's always looking for ways to make money, and he's very much good at doing that. So it was a money-making scheme for him, and he was saying that he also wants to highlight the boxing world to everybody. So when Patrick Shai actually did the video with the profanities, he wanted to get into a boxing match with Casper, and for him, it was to raise awareness on gender-based violence. It might be connected to that lady that was murdered while pregnant. And so he ended up in hot waters. And then immediately after that, we found the guy had allegedly committed suicide in his house. And again, not putting one and one together, you can understand that it was a taxing time for Patrick at the time, considering what was happening and now getting the backlash from social media. So it might have been not the best time for him to be ostracized by the media, and that might have weighed heavily on him, or the death in itself. But you can understand someone who eventually commits suicide is undergoing a lot of emotional and mental turmoil. So we spoke about double HP. We spoke about MT. We spoke about Patrick Shai. Oh, the other person I wanted to speak about is this Patrick guy. So his name is Patrick. So Patrick Seleka is allegedly an actor, or was allegedly an actor on Skim Sam. Skim Sam is doing great, by the way, according to the numbers on the people that give us the numbers. It's one of the most watched soapies in South Africa, while Muvanga on the other side is cancelled after 26 years. So it's doing great. So I'm sure he's doing great, and if he's still there, has like a stable job. So a couple of years back, he actually trended for the wrong reasons. And he was saying a lot of things about him being the cause of the wife going through depression, going through anxiety, being on antidepressants, the wife losing the job. Let's see the video before I speak about it.
Penny. The main reason my wife is going through her depression, I should say that all of it is because of me. I am the reason why she has been so depressed for so long. And the one thing that's the worst is that I haven't been there for her. The reason for her to go through her depression is all the things that I have been doing in our marriage. It all started from the beginning of our marriage, where I wasn't good. I wasn't a good person. I wasn't.
So obviously after this video, he got a lot of backlash, and you know, the cancel culture people were like, take him off of Skim Sum. And I was like, but why, guys? Now, so he can go on depression, and because he won't be able to provide for the wife who has lost the job, or the baby, or the antidepressants that are helping the wife. You get what I'm saying? So he said a lot of things that a lot of men would never admit to. And you get a lot from the psychologists that speak about the fact that oftentimes men who suffer from patriarchal indoctrination will get with women that they don't particularly like, and then they would try to dim a light. So I don't know what was going on with the chick and the guy, but for you to be able to subject to someone to abuse, verbal, physical, or otherwise, or try to dim someone's light, there is obviously something wrong in the brain. I did find something to back my statement about the fact that if you are a man and you are abusing a female that you are with, you're probably suffering from your own problems and are acting out societal standards, societal norms, particularly for men that usually lean towards patriarchy, especially if a man's going through a hard time and is unhappy with themselves and their own success. They tend to want to abuse the lady that they're with so that they can feel like they are in charge or are the leaders that they are sometimes not. So this is what I found from Connections for Abused Women and Their Children. It says that the patriarchal gender roles and expectations can also play a role in abuse. Men who feel that they are entitled to power and control over their partners may be more likely to engage in abusive behaviors. Now, I'm not one to gossip, but this Patrick Selega guy literally falls under this. And again, going back to what we were talking about, these things that men go through in their head are conjured up by their own beliefs about what a man is supposed to be. And that's usually based on what the society informs a man should be. So I wanted to bring those things to the forefront today. And I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. As a man, because obviously this is speaking to a man, watch yourself and watch why you do certain things. Are they informed by societal standards that you might not particularly adhere to? And when you're going through a downward spiral, going through mental strain, look at these things that you believe about a man. And yeah, I think that's it. I don't like making these things long. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'll see you on the next one. Oh, do comment, do subscribe, do tell your friends. And with that, we have no more information to give to the masses. Bye.